Arduzzi was telling us the other day about how much you've grown as a runner over the years, and he said even that redshirt freshman year when you ran for 1,000 yards, when you watched the tape, you were tripping, falling down a lot, could have had twice as many yards. I mean, do you think the same thing when you go back and watch some of those highlights from that year? Like, man, I wasn't even that great of a runner yet, and just putting up those numbers.
It's definitely like you watch the tape from that year, and it's definitely like a ton of plays where you where I did fall down, or one guy just catching me on the ankle and me just falling down, or just falling down at the line of scrimmage. It's a lot of those. So definitely, he's definitely right. Looking back on it, being like the older guy now, it's just like you understand that I was young at that time, and I'm able to learn from it and got better from it.
Yeah, you started last season. You and Darren started in the last season in the same position you started this season, where Coach Powell, Coach Stu said, "Hey, we want one of those guys to kind of take that role," and it never really happened for either one of you. I mean, Darren got hot at the end of the year a little bit, but what has been the difference for you this year? Why have you sort of been able to be the guy that they wanted?
I think all of us have potential to be the guy. I think Darren has shown that he's very capable, and when AJ gets in, he also makes plays. I think we have like ultimate trust from our coaches, from Coach Powell, from Coach Watson. They trust that either one of us can go in and get the job done and execute just as well as the other guy. It's not like I'm in there the entire game getting 40 carries. Darren gets his workload as well. So there still isn't just one guy. It's a long season. You got a long 12 games, and we're only 3 going into 4. I guess a quarter of the way through the season. So it's a long season, and you can't just depend on one guy just to try to carry the load the entire season.
That being said, he has, we look at the depth chart on Monday. There's oars all over the place, and there's not an oar at running back right now. You are you're first among equals, for lack of a better phrase. What has allowed you to sort of be in that position?
I think just being a senior, being a veteran, being someone that the coaches trust. To go out there and just execute whatever play is called. I think I just over the years, over camp, over spring, just gain the trust of the coaches, and like I said, there's multiple guys in the room that are capable though.
One of the things that Coach Powell was talking to us yesterday is when you have 2 seniors, there's not a lot left for the other guys. I think your redshirt freshman year, you started the season probably 4th on the depth chart before you ended up with all those yards. How have you kind of passed that message along to AJ and Mike and Todd about being ready because you don't know when your opportunity is going to come?
It's like the hardest thing to be in like life, just period, is just be patient. Knowing that those guys have 2-3 more years. And I was the same way. Like, you want it to happen right away. Even when I redshirted, you always, you just want it to happen right away. But you have to understand that it's a process, and it is a process. It's a process that, everybody's a little different. It's tough when you got people from back home and friends, asking you, why aren't you playing? Why isn't this? And they don't really always understand the full bulk of it. But just being patient and just waiting, for your moment, because everyone's, not had to do it. It's not a lot of people that have just came in and just, from the start, just been the guy. Especially at a school like Pitt, who always have really, really good running backs. So, it's tough to be patient. But I think they've grown, especially over the years or over the year. From last year and Mike over the summer and throughout camp, just being patient and knowing that they still have a lot of time left.
You've had to be patient multiple times over your Pitt career. I mean, there was the year you step in and kind of replace James, then he comes back and you slide down the depth chart again. I mean, do you feel like you've had kind of a weird path here somewhat that you're now, maybe even more grateful for the way you've started this season?
Yeah, definitely grateful for the path that I guess was given. It allowed me to do a lot of things differently. It made me, a really, really, smarter player, a way better player than I am. just learning, being able to sit back and just learn from James for a year was, I think, huge in my development as a running back. Just being able to watch him, go to work every single day was just huge. And I think overall it just made me a better player all around.
Did you come to Pitt with the personality to be patient?
I always had that, ever since, even when I was in high school, I didn't start, varsity until like my junior season. I played varsity as a sophomore, and I had a senior that was ahead of me, so like just waiting, and then my junior year was my chance to start. So even in high school, having to sit behind, a senior or somebody that's more experienced than me, or somebody that that was just better than me at the time. So yeah, it's different, but it's something that I've kind of dealt with before and understand, how to cope with that. And that's what's different with a lot of kids, in high school. You might be the guy from your freshman year as soon as you step, onto your high school team, and then you get to college, and it's like, dang, you don't know how to deal with that. But I think once you figure it out, it ultimately, makes you everything that's supposed to happen will happen. It's kind of like something that I believe. It's easy to just up and leave and go transfer somewhere else. That's the easy way out. I think you really show how good you are, how tough you are when you stick around and decide to, fight through that adversity and not just, up and leave and, just take. I feel like that's kind of like an easier way to deal with it. It's just getting up and be like, okay, I'm gonna go here, or do this.
Did you ever have that conversation at any point?
No, it never was a thought. The moment when I committed to Pitt in 2014, I committed to the school for the next 4 to 5 years, of my life. This is where I want to go to school. This is where I want to get my degree. And this is where I want to play football. So the thought never crossed my mind, no matter whether I was getting the ball 20 times or getting the ball 0. The thought never crossed my mind. I just had to keep my head down and just keep pushing and keep working. And, thought never crossed my mind.
Now, you ended up blocking a lot last year, which was not in your job description when you got here. I'm wondering, did any of that help you now, maybe in terms of better understanding of how to set guys up or how to run behind guys and stuff like that?
It helps you understand the way a play is blocked more. It helps you understand, like, conceptually, how plays are run. Once you're able to understand the blocking pattern of a play, who's double teaming, who's working up to which linebacker and things like that, it helps you understand things conceptually, and it slows things down for you, so you know how to read a play, you know where the cut's going to be, you know what I mean? You know where, if the backside is cut off or if it isn't, things like that. I really think it made me a really, real smart, way smarter player. And even though I had George to help me with that stuff, he was there with me every step of the way, and I think it worked out for us. We had a tremendous, O-line last year, and we had a really good O-line this year. Guys stepped into their role, replacing guys like, like Alex and Brian and those type of guys was huge for us. So, it's huge.
Yeah, talking about your line, it seems first touchdown was a real good example. It seems like you're having a lot of success when those guys are pulling and getting out in front, trapping. Do you feel like you've got a pretty athletic group that can, really lead the way compared to some lines that are more just big guys?
Definitely. We have a lot of guys that can move. They move really well. They do a good job getting to the second level, getting on linebackers, and then just leaving the safeties or the corners for us to make miss or to break a tackle. And we have a lot of guys that are experienced. They might not have 20 games under their belt, but they've been around. They've played a lot of football. Steph, graduates transferred from Kent State. Dentino, fifth-year senior. Jimmy started all 12 games last year. Herndon, fifth-year senior. Books, that's played in 30-plus games. So we have guys that have, a ton of experience just, in college alone. So I think that helps us ultimately. And, like you said, we have a lot of guys that can move really well and do a really good job getting up to a second level with guys.
Along the theme of patience today in our questioning, I imagine patience is running thin, playing North Carolina, not coming out with a win. How important is it guys to, obviously it's your next game, but to get one against Carolina?
I think it's just important that they're in the ACC, and it's important to get another win in the ACC. Being 2-0 in the ACC would be huge. And we haven't beaten them yet, and that's just the bottom line. They're a great team. You give them credit. Just really just ultimately Saturday afternoon being 2-0 in the ACC is like the number one thing on our agenda.
You mentioned Alex pretty quickly. Obviously, we just found out that's pretty bad news. Because, I know you're close with him. What does that mean to you, and what has your conversation with him been like?
Man, that's bigger than football. That's something that's Alex is a kid, from Rochester, New York. Us Western New York people take pride in where we come from, man. That's me and Ayo so close. It's not even funny, but he used to ride home with me back to Niagara Falls, or take me back home to Rochester, stuff like that. And that's, man, it's you live your entire life, playing the game that you love and doing the game that you love, and then for something like that to just hit you, man, it really, he's, we're all pulling for him. He's our brother. I'm praying for his family. I'm praying for him. But that right there, that's something that's bigger than football. It makes you really grateful for the opportunity that you have. It makes you grateful for everything that God has given you. It makes you really realize that no matter how bad you may think you have it, there's someone that has it worse than you somewhere, and it just makes you grateful for every opportunity, everything that you have, and just knowing Ayo, man, he gonna be fine. He gonna have a smile on his face every single day. He's not gonna let it get him down, he knows that he has, he was here for 5 years as well, so he probably have, about 500 brothers, people, staff, rooting for him as well. So, man, that's tough, but I think, he's going to come out stronger on the other side of it. I really believe that.
Are guys on the team plan to do anything for him to help him in the process?
He has a GoFundMe. A bunch of guys, ex-players, players now, tweeted it out. Anything helps, whether it's, it doesn't have to be a lot. But anything to help him just do these rounds of chemotherapy, anything can help. You can go to my Twitter, at Qadree Ollison, and Coach Narduzzi tweeted it out. Anything to try and help him and his family get through this, because that's tough, and it really, really is tough, and it's something that's bigger than just football. So that's what we're doing to try to help. We're trying to spread the word, get the word out, so people can, donate to that GoFundMe page and just help him out in any way.